takes a lot of work. It's definitely opened my eyes to how much preparation is required to be able to go into a classroom ready to teach for even just an hour a day. So much content preparation, so much direction preparation, so much timing preparation, so much handout preparation, just it's all preparation. But if you can put in the hours doing that and mix in some of the other strategies regarding classroom management and that kind of stuff, you can make it happen. Spent a lot of time trying to remember what Algebra 2 was about. It was a while ago, so some of the concepts clicked a little bit easier than the other ones, but it did really take a lot of time to be able to internalize a concept, not just to the point of being able to do a handout on it in a certain amount of time, but being able to know each possible step so clearly and discreetly that you would be able to explain it to someone and recognize someone's mistakes at any one of those steps.
This week was another emotional roller coaster ride for me, just because I was like, oh, my kids are getting it, they're getting it, and then they're just like, Miss Silva, we don't get anything. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's go back to the beginning. Oh, I have a newfound appreciation for every teacher that I thought would walk into the classroom and make it look easy, because I walk in and have spent hours of preparation just for 15 minutes, like the first 15 minutes. And so this week was completely different because we had gotten used to like just kind of taking out and editing what we wanted. And so this was our first one of like everything from start to finish was all our ideas. And I think I have grown. I mean, I think there's always going to be something I can work on, especially going into my first year, but I made improvements in terms of setting expectations for classroom management from the beginning, and so that way I'm not wasting time redirecting students or saying, hey, like this is your warning. My students know the expectations because they were set early last week and kind of carried on over into this week, and so they're just kind of like, okay, like we know how she's going to be and like what she's expecting of us, and now what I know I need to focus on is like giving those directions that are very clear and not wordy, because the moment I start to add more words, I lose them. Some aspects in terms of like the feeling of like being overwhelmed with all of this stuff can get a little much, but then understanding that like you're not going to leave this space like teacher of the year, professional of the year type thing. Like this is just like create this foundation for us to like grow from that, and I think that's like what I have to check myself in.
I need to really work on student-centered directions and like telling them what they need to be doing with their brain, body, and voice. My favorite success, like this happened it happened at the beginning of this week. I was like walking around like checking on students. My co-teacher was leading the lab, and so I was just like kind of like support, checking in, like seeing how kids are doing. And out of the blue, this one boy, like I was at his table and he was like, can I tell you something? I was like, yeah, what's up? And he was like, I like this class. He said, during the regular school year, I don't try, but I'm trying in your class. And I had like no idea, because this is the boy who's always raising his hand, who's always contributing, who's helping. Like I thought that he was missing, like he was in summer school because of like absences during the academic year, but like he really wasn't participating, so he actually like I think failed his classes before. And then one of his history teacher came into our class to observe and like made note, like, whoa, dude, like I'm really impressed like with your contribution. So like that just made me feel really good that there is a kid who has admitted that he has shut himself down previously and that he loves this class.
I can't believe it's over. It seemed like 5 weeks ago that I wasn't going to be able to make it. Just like the amount of stress that goes with it and the work that goes into it. I never questioned my purpose of being here. I just didn't ever see the end. I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and now it's here, and it's like, you know. So I'm excited, but it's kind of a bittersweet feeling as well. I think my favorite memory that I have this summer, I have a little boy in my class who, we were at lunch one day, and I was asking him, I was like, well, what do you guys want to do when you grow up? And one was like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a policeman. And I looked over at my student, and he goes, I want to be a teacher like you. And I thought, wow. I was like, you know, why? And he said, because the kids that I'm going to have, they're the future of our country, and that's important to me. And that was just like my wow moment, you know, like that's why I'm doing what I'm doing is knowing that like these kids that I'm teaching and the people that I'm working with, like they're the future of our country, and that's why we're here, is to help guide them and to help navigate the world around them. And so I think my experience as an institute and the difficulties that I faced are going to really carry over into being a founding teacher and knowing that like you have a lot more strength inside of you. You just have to dig really deep for it. And so that's one thing that I'm going to take, but I'm also going to take, like, for me coming to Houston from Mississippi and not knowing anyone, like that was very difficult for me. And I really relied on like my CMA group and my CMA to kind of pick me up, and I had thankfully like a friend here that, you know, was always there for me. And so I've learned like the importance of community and like how that's going to translate into being a founding teacher. Is like I'm gonna need like that sense of community from my new like teachers that I'm working with, but also like my community around me, and like I want to go out and be a part of my community because I want to feel what I felt this summer. So that's what I've learned from Institute and what I want to carry over into my school.